All right. Hello, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. This is DFS Army's NFL pre-lock show. We're back at it. Had a good week last week. We have a nice value running back slate. I think it's always interesting when that happens. We have the GOAT group here. We say it every week. The one and only man, myth, the legend, Burns, author of Winning the $1 Million Game. Tattoos, our single entry savant. And then Razzle Dazzle, your GPP special. And he's also just great at everything. So happy to have y'all here. Raz, how you feeling about the slate this week?
Feeling pretty good, actually. A lot of angles that I really like.
What?
I mean, anytime we can get stud players lower owned because people just don't want to spend up is a great day for me, at least.
Hey, I'm just happy you're happy. For those of you who are relatively new, usually Raz is like, no, I hate this slate. It's awful. You being happy, man, just made my whole freaking day. I am fighting a little bit of a cold still, so you might hear that a little bit, but you'll get over it. It's going to be a good one. All right, let's see. What are y'all saying in the chat? We're here to answer your questions. We'll also go position by position and just kind of talk through what we're doing on this slate as well. Cujo, love seeing you here. You're early, very early, but appreciate you. Carlos said, good morning, gents. The show Friday was the tits. As always, appreciate you. And my question is, cash quarterback, running back, and your single entry quarterback / running back. We'll answer your question, but we'll definitely focus a bit more on just like the single entry quarterback side of the question. But Tattoo, what's your approach just in general for cash quarterback, running back this week? And then we'll get to single entry.
Mine is Daniel Jones. But, you could use Patrick Mahomes or Dart, but I'm going with Daniel Jones today for my single entry builds.
Okay. What about running back for cash?
The core three numbnuts, Minogi, Kali Minogi.
Yep.
Okay. Travion Henderson and Tyrone Tracy.
Yep. I think that's going to be pretty consistent for a lot of us this week. Now, kind of looking at the single entry side of things, I know, Tattoo, you also gave us your single entry quarterback. Raz, who are you looking at the quarterback position?
Very similar to Tattoo. Daniel Jones, and then one of the quarterbacks in the Chiefs-Bills game probably are right after him. And then I don't know if I can get as much love on Jackson Dart as it seems like Geek has this week. But, yeah, it's really those two. And then maybe Jared Goff, just because Goff at home for me is just a thing.
Where are you at, Burns?
Yeah, I love all the picks there. I am on Daniel Jones this week. I do have a good feeling about him this week. Jackson Dart is a weird play for me. I really haven't played much of him in DFS at all, to be quite honest with you. And he's done well. He's performed. But actually, the quarterback on the other side of that game is actually a better play than Jackson Dart this week. I think you're going to see significantly lower ownership in him. And he actually makes a better play than Jackson Dart, who's a home underdog. But that game aside, I think in terms of how I would build my SEs, Caleb Williams is still a thing. Jackson Dart, if you use him, I would play him naked. I wouldn't really pair him up with anybody other than maybe Theo Johnson from an SE perspective. And then, I really do like Goff. He's a really good play this week, and he's going to go significantly underowned. And I really like the fact that ASRB is going to be underowned, JMO is going to be underowned, Gibbs is going to be underowned, and Laporta will be significantly underowned. So I love the fact that all these people are going right to these value running backs, and they're forgetting that these studs they're studly for a reason, and these value running backs are just being thrusted into action. And we've seen it many times in the past where we get multiple running backs that are thrusted into these situations. And, one of them does okay, they do fine. They do a good job, but the other ones don't. And we see it every year. And everybody just seems that they want to just force in these value running backs. And that's why I had such a dynamic discussion on tournament tactics about it, was because the fact that these guys are value is that they're value for a reason. They're low in salary for a reason. They're not awesome running backs by any stretch. I mean, Kareem Hunt is a journeyman. Henderson, we don't even know if his play in the offense is even solidified at this point. I mean, and then Manungai, he is just a guy that is starting to get run, and he's probably the best of them all. So and then and I love this. This is what I love. Everybody is forgetting about Josh Jacobs. Everybody doesn't want to play Kyron Williams. Everybody doesn't want to play Bijan. Nobody wants to play these guys. And I freaking love it, because guess what? These are the guys that are going to blow up. And they're going to do it at significantly lower ownership. And I love it.
Who are some of your favorite running backs this week then, Burns?
I just listed them. I mean, Kyron Williams in a freaking double-digit spread game is freaking amazing, man. At home, Josh Jacobs, double-digit spread. Everybody's like, oh, no, he can't get on the outside. Watch him get on the outside.
Saw it last week.
Bijan crushed 75-80% of single entry contests last week. He crushed mine. I had him in it. He crushed hopes and dreams in the Millie Maker. These are the guys that I want, man. I want these guys. These guys are studs for a reason. Pair them with Manungai. I mean, if you can't get away from the fact that you have to have a value guy in there, play it. Who cares? But yeah, man, that's where I'm going with it.
Raz, what about you? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm very much in love with the same thing that Burns is in this scenario. I want the studs. Manungai does stand out to me as the best of the cheaper guys, and I think Kareem Hunt's the second best, just because his touchdown equity is so strong in that offense that I just think he's just a much better play than Tyrone Tracy and Travion. Travion, I would not be shocked if all of a sudden we see Terrell Jennings with 2 rushing touchdowns for some ungodly reason.
Don't speak that evil on me.
I don't think Tyrone Tracy's all that good. He was supposed to be the starting running back coming into the year, and his numbers just overall just aren't strong enough. And now, it's a rookie quarterback. I think teams are starting to stack the box more against Dart, because even the last 2 weeks he hasn't been able to run the ball.
Yeah.
So Tyrone Tracy feels really off to me as a guy that everybody wants to jam in. So in that other spot or the other 2 spots, just give me one of the guys that are above 6K, like Kamani Vidal even. Kind of in the price range where I think he gets forgotten about, because people want to play the cheap guys, and then they're like, oh wait, I got to play CMC or JT or something because their name. Well, then now they're forgetting about guys like Vidal.
Yeah. I mean, Vidal, I'm including him in those cheap running back groups. I'm so over on him. And the thing with Tracy is that 49ers defense, they've been banged up here recently. They've been getting beat. And so I think that's also why people like Tracy. But I agree, there's definitely some risk here. All right. I think we covered that position pretty thoroughly. Xavier said, good morning, guys. Who are you guys' favorite standalone receivers today? Tattoo, I'll start with you. Who do you like at wideout?
I mean, standalone, probably Jamar Chase, because I'm not using but so much Flacco. My highest owned are Rice, Chase, Puka, and Lad McConkey.
Rice, Chase, Puka, and Ladd. Yeah, I like that group. Where are you at, Raz?
I mean, like this question is generally it's always the expensive guys, right? Like because those are the guys that can just do it on their own. You know, we're not really using Stafford much on the slate, I don't think, because they're such a strong favorite. But Puka's just always going to get there. Chase, Justin Jefferson, but a little lower down. Like one of my favorite wide receivers, Jordan Addison. Like I don't need McCarthy to be playing in my lineups. Like I like Jordan Addison's price point for 100-yard and multi-touchdown upside. Like I'll gladly take that. DK Metcalf, like I don't really want to play Aaron Rodgers, so I just rather play DK Metcalf, as a standalone play. I'm sure we can dig in and find some other ones, but those are the main ones for me.
That's a great point. I have a crap ton of DK Metcalf, so I think I'll also join you and say he's my standalone wideout because all the other receivers I'm playing in stacks, out of stacks, stuff like that, but he's the one consistent. There is no Aaron Rodgers in my lineups. What about you, Burns? How do you feel about wide receivers this week?
Yeah, I think the guys up top are your standalone plays. A guy that's starting to pop into a lot of lineups is DJ Moore this week. He's almost like he's just popping. And so he's popping more than the Dunze is at this point. But, guy like BTJ, he's a great one-off as well. He's real viable at that 6,200 mark. So, in addition to all the guys up top.
Perfect. What about you, Raz? Who do you like?
We already went. Yeah.
Dang it. Rookie mistake. All right. Nathan said, morning, everyone. Burns, would you double stack Daniel Jones? And what % ownership would you set for a 20 max contest? 2-part question. You cheated, but I see you.
Yeah, you can double stack him. He's viable to double stack. The best double stack that you can do with him is Pittman and Tyler Warren.
Yep.
Pierce has got some attractability in terms of how he handles the scheme that he's going up against. So that's also there. And then obviously I don't mind if you want to stack him up with JT and one of his pass catchers as well. I mean, then you get all the touchdowns basically in that game for Indianapolis. Percentage for 20 max. I'm not going to give an actual percentage. I've said this about, I've tried to get people to actually research this on their own because this is the reason why. Every contest that you enter has a different percentage of ownership that cap. Yes, you can have a generic one like 120, 130, but when you start to look at setting your own projected ownership cap, you should be really looking at the contests that you enter, and you should be entering these contests on a weekly basis the same. These should be the same contests, and research them. Research the top 20, top 10 lineups, because that gives you a holistic viewpoint of what the actual percentage of ownership on average is going to take to win those contests. So like the Millie Maker, I know it's between 120 and 130 right now. But that may apply to like your mini max and your massive GPP contests on DraftKings. But when you start looking at 20 max, it'll have a different projected ownership cap because we only have 20 lineups to be able to put in. So I can't really give you a solidified number there other than, if you want to go generic, then it's like 120, 130, 140, somewhere in that range. So.
All right. Jason, good to see you. Jules, Brutus, Cedric. Love seeing y'all here, the crew. JM said, who is the one receiver that you all are going to be way over on in GPPs? I gave you a second to think. Raz, what are your thoughts here?
Boy. I mean, I guess it's probably got to be Jordan Addison, since I mentioned him as one of my favorite standalone guys. I was trying to look to see what his percentage was, 2%, 2.08. Yeah, it's got to be Addison for me.
That's the play I like because I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll get 5% and call it a day. You don't have to go too crazy there. What about Burns? Do you have a favorite?
For me, I'm double the field on Puka Nacua right now.
And there you go.
So yeah, he would be my guy.
Tattoo, last but not least.
DK Metcalf.
Got it. Lego 420, I see you. Said, any thoughts on Tucker Craft?
Love it.
Love
Tattoo,
him.
you love him? Burns, you love him?
I love him.
I think that's like his number one. That's his go-to. That's his guy.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, I love him too because everybody's going to Tyler Warren for $200 less, and the pivot is Tucker Craft in this one, off of Tyler Warren. So, I mean, they're essentially around the same ownership, but yeah.
Hasn't he been like the winning captain in the last two like Green Bay showdowns? I think
Maybe, yeah.
It
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Sweet. Big Rob said, Burns, do you think the Jacksonville and Las Vegas game can take off?
Yeah, I mean, it can. The Vegas side is, honestly, I like the Vegas side as a more intriguing side. I have built lineups with Geno Smith early in the week, and I'm just going to let him float and go. I think Brock Bowers coming back, and he's seemingly healthy. He doesn't have a designation tag on him right now, is a positive. And then, Trey Tucker is the other receiver in that offense that would be viable with Geno Smith. And then, a lot of people are forgetting about Ashton Genty today. And, he's viable as well. And then on the other side, I'm not on Trevor Lawrence at all this week. I just like a few of his pass catchers. I like BTJ and single entry / cash. And then also in GPPs. And then the guy that's everybody's gravitating towards, Parker Washington. And he's the guy that's actually gotten a lot more run in the past. But the guy that's actually going to be, he could benefit with Travis Hunter out is Diami Brown. The coverage scheme that he's going up against, he has a better projectability against the coverage scheme than Parker Washington.
All right. And I like that half the ownership, only 100 more. Love that as a pivot. The Ken Knief said, what's up, y'all? DS is giving me 15 to 20% in JT despite the price. Have to decide to cap or trust Jesus. All capped, all GPPs at 25%. Interesting. He's not popping for me at all. Raz, are you seeing that in your runs?
I'm waiting for my last one to finish just to see. Like, I mean, I wouldn't guess that I'm not seeing it that much, but maybe. I haven't done any boost to any players or anything yet, so like I'm still pretty raw with what I am running. But I wouldn't be like, if it gave me, like, I wouldn't be upset about it. Like the best fantasy football player in the NFL this season is Jonathan Taylor. So, like, yeah, give me 20%. And it probably does pop, right? Like, especially if you've limited a couple of those cheap guys, but or probably because he is limiting all those cheapies at 25%. It's not just jamming 3 of those 4 guys together in every lineup. So it then now has to spend up somewhere to go with
that's
like
a hard pass. That's a hard pass for me, man. I would cap the hell out of that. But Burns, what are your thoughts on this situation?
Yeah, so JT it's a salary thing for me. I'm getting about 8%, 10%. I added him because I want him in there with Daniel Jones so I can capture every single touchdown in that game on the Indianapolis side. And so that's really kind of what my thought process is on that. But outside of those games, if he just filters into another lineup or two, by all means. But yeah, with Daniel Jones, can definitely see that Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones, Michael Pittman, or Warren, somebody's going to get those touchdowns, and it could go to any one of those four guys. So with Daniel Jones slinging it and stuff. So
yeah. Tattoo, are you playing Taylor this week?
I capped him at 10%.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. Chucksenhausen said, "Let's go, fam." Star-Lord. Yeah, let's hope we don't get last week's Bijan performance from Mungai. Yeah, I don't disagree, but I'm not really overly concerned. Larry Barbie, what's up, man? Said Puka or Chase this week. I'll pass this one to everyone. I'll start with you, Tattoo. Puka or Chase?
Puka for ownership.
Yep, it's going to be Puka for me as well. I like the matchup and game environment.
Yeah, I like the matchup even better, too.
Exactly. Burns, where are you at? You see things differently?
no, I like Puka because of the ownership. And there's a lot of ownership on Chase this week. Rightfully so. He's in a great spot. But wouldn't it be a bummer to all those Chase owners if T. Higgins was the guy?
Exactly. What about you, Raz? Are you going to be the one guy who's different here?
I am, just strictly because like I'm playing super large field stuff, and I believe in this spot Chase has a greater ceiling. The Rams such a huge favorite at home.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of capped upside for Puka. Like he's still going to get his double-digit targets. Like, no doubt about that. I just think that Chase, just the greater ceiling. I just hate the Flacco shoulder issue.
Yeah, that's really what did it for me. And I'll be honest here. I have 29% Chase and I have 30% Puka. But there's actual leverage with Puka, whereas with Chase, I'm just going to be at field ownership. Is Jaylen Warren in play? This is the guy I want to talk to you all about because I don't know what to do with him. Burns, what are your thoughts on Jaylen Warren? He's the chalk.
Mm-hmm. Is he chalk?
Yeah, he's 17.68, second highest owned running back on the slate.
Really? Oh, I didn't see that. Really? I mean, he's under. He's fourth.
The fourth.
I got him at fourth.
Yeah, I see.
You have him as fourth. Is this outdated?
You don't have the cheap
you
guys
gotta
at the top.
Refresh.
Yours not showing Manungai and yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. So yeah, he's fourth.
Still fourth is pretty aggressive.
Yeah, still high.
I added him into my pool earlier this morning. I honestly, if I get ownership in him, I get ownership in him. It's not something I'm boosting. Yeah. He's a fine play. He's at 5,500 today. He's kind of above those value guys and I'm really surprised that he's at the 17% ownership because of all those value guys. And it wouldn't surprise me if his ownership is less than this in the Millie Maker, where he probably is around the 10% mark. But he could actually have some touchdown equity in this game. But, I'm not really playing like heavy of him. Maybe I cap him at 10, 15%, but yeah.
Raz, what were your thoughts here? Are you following that train of line of thinking?
I mean, I'm going to have probably a decent amount. I mean, by decent, I mean 20 to 25%. Only because like I'm playing that game so heavily. And from our props projection standpoint, like he's the fourth best point per dollar running back, based on the book's props. So like they're expecting things to happen for him. So, I mean, I have to be in there, and I think I like him more than Travion just because like we can't trust what Travion's role is going to be. And I think I probably personally like him more than Tyrone Tracy, but I'm obviously in the minority in that one.
I think people are a little too worried about Henderson not getting the touches. At first, to start off the season, he's a rookie. There were two solid running backs there with Ramondre Stevenson and Gibson. Now they're both hurt, so there aren't actual talent there. There isn't actual talent there anymore. It's only Henderson. Now, could Josh McDaniels just really fuck with us and do some shit? Yeah. But there's a logical reason for why he didn't see that many touches at the start of the season. Now, it would just be ludicrous if he didn't see the ball.
Part of the logical thing might be just because he's not as good as they expected him to be. Like, Stevenson is fumbling every single week, and every other franchise in the NFL would be benching a guy like that, and yet they just keep giving him more touches because they just didn't want to give the ball to Travion. Like, there's an issue there. We don't know what it is. Like, everybody can speculate, right? I thought he was pretty talented. I loved him going into the season because I thought that he should be better than better than Ramondre, but maybe he just isn't. I don't know.
See, I see it the other way where they were just overly loyal to Ramondre because he's been there for a while. Not like I don't trust Henderson, and especially because he's improved his blocking and everything. I don't know. I could definitely be wrong, but I'm not worried. I'm just not. So we'll see. I could be pissed off later, but I feel good about it. Let's see. Geek has a boner alert for Dart. Yeah, it's been solid so far, though. How dumb is it to not?
He has one every week for him.
He does. Oh, so
he's more excited about Dart than I am. I've been for Drake May.
Yeah,
I mean, they're very similar.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm fading Dart this week at that ownership. I think he'll probably do well though. So that's probably me being dumb. Matt said, "How dumb is it to not play Jamar Chase?" Burns, do you have a strong lean on this?
You're only not playing Jamar Chase because you think T. Higgins is going to get all the touchdowns and he's going to have the better day. But in reality, I don't think you can fade Jamar Chase. I think you can lower your ownership to him, but a full out fade of him, I don't think you can do that today simply because the matchup is too strong for him. But that being the case, I would lean towards lowering the ownership or capping him versus just all out fading him.
Okay. Quentin Messenger said Diggs, Myers, Sutton, Ferguson, or Tracy Jr., receiver 2, and flex. Tattoo, I'll throw this one at you.
Shit. Shit. Maybe Myers and Ferguson.
Perfect. Larry said, what receiver with Jones do you guys like? Burns, I know you literally just touched on it. Can you repeat some of the wideouts you like with Daniel Jones?
For me, it starts and ends with Michael Pittman. The rapport that those two have had all year thus far has just been too dynamic to go to anybody else. But the only other guy that I would probably pair him with is probably Alec Pierce as a WR, if not going with Pittman, and then Jalen Warren, or not Jalen Warren, but Tyler Warren. Sorry.
Yep, I'm with you there. Ja, what's up? 100% my guy. If he doesn't smash, you're cooked. Hey, I'm at 80, so I'm close to it with you. Jared said, I'm with Burns on running backs from Tournament Tactics, Vidal and Kyron. I see y'all. Good stuff. Pollock Hillbilly said, with all the value at running back, running a Jones lineup with Gibbs and CMC are the true stud potential slate breakers. Raz, do you agree with this kind of train of thinking, or what are your thoughts?
Just given that everybody's so focused on the cheaper running backs, like the expensive running backs with any of the quarterback you're going to go with, have the potential to be the slate breakers. Jones, like I would think it's more with a little bit more expensive quarterbacks than even Jones, just because like some of those guys have more expensive wide receivers, so you're trying to be a little different. But just because Jones, like Pittman's not overly expensive, and then you play him with Alec Pierce, like there's going to be salary available, for some Jones lineups. But yeah, I definitely believe in those expensive running backs being slate breakers for today.
Perfect. Brian, I'm with you. Nobody's getting me off my value running backs either. It's okay to stick to your guns, but if you're wrong, then you have to admit you're wrong. It's okay. Honestly, I have a good mix. I'm over on the 4K running backs, and that's how I can pay up for some of the studs. So I feel pretty balanced this week. Let's see. Josiah, any love for Trey Tucker? I know Burns just mentioned Trey. Let me see. I'm not really getting to the Raiders much today outside of, let me double check, maybe a little bit of Bowers. Yeah. So I'm not really getting to Trey Tucker too much, but if you're playing Geno, I get it. I just don't love this spot for him personally. Jacoby Myers is not on my radar. What about you, Raz? You look at Myers at all?
The only reason I looked at him is because I did the content for the afternoon only. Otherwise, I'm just not playing Jacoby Myers, or at least lowering him quite a bit because I can't trust him. Yeah, I'm a Brock Bowers and then Ashton Genty player for the Raiders today.
You couldn't pay me, man. You couldn't pay me. But hey, if they go off, y'all are gonna look brilliant. Kind of like CJ Stroud last week. That went great for you, Raz. Congrats on that.
It did go well.
Is the lack of Jefferson love all QB related, or is it just a crap matchup? Sub 10% owned seems like a go-to spot for him. Burns, what were your thoughts around Justin Jefferson this week at 7,800?
I just don't like him because he doesn't have a quarterback that can actually get him the ball. JJ McCarthy's been injured almost the entire year. And even before that, when he wasn't injured this year, he really wasn't doing much with Justin Jefferson. It wasn't like they were like a thing or anything. It was like they were doing great things together. And even when Wentz was in there, Justin Jefferson was having a very difficult time making any type of value from a fantasy perspective. He might have popped off once or twice, but in reality, he wasn't just like going off all the time like he used to. So for me, it's a quarterback perspective. I just don't really think that Justin Jefferson's in play for me because his quarterback's just trash. I mean, they're not great.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm definitely going to take some shots on JJ, but not yet. It's so weird that he was basically healthy the last couple of weeks, but they still didn't start him. That's just such a sketchy, weird vibe there. I can't go here now in a tough matchup against the Lions. Steven, what's up? Said, what's everyone thinking about Jawan Jennings today? Tattoo? Thoughts on Jawan?
With the field on him, maybe a little under.
Burns, what about you?
Have a lot of Mac Jones.
Oh, okay. So Mac Jones. Burns, any interest from you?
Jawan Jennings.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's in play. His prop projection's the best around that range of wide receivers. And he's starting to get more healthy every week that he plays. But Kendrick Bourne has had a pretty solid rapport with Mac Jones, so I can understand why people are going that route. But yeah, I don't mind him today.
Yeah, I have a good amount too. Josh said, Jesus wants to shove Myers into my lineup. So I'm glad that's where that ended. Is getting 55%. What would you guys set the limit at? Raz, are you seeing Myers show up a lot for you? And then also, where would you cap him if you did see yourself getting 55%?
I mean, I'd probably end up capping him at like the 10 to 12% range. At least that's my plan. I mean, I guess I don't know why he's getting jammed in yours. Mine's about to finish again, but like it's not like his prop point per dollar projection is very strong. Unless you're using regular projection, which is slightly stronger, I mean, I think I just got 1% in my last run.
He's not showing up for me either. Maybe it's a FanDuel thing, but I'm with you. I would also cap it. I just don't trust that team too much right now, but I'm not going to X him out because that game does have some potential to be higher scoring than people think. Our Tarnutzer said, I'm a new paid YouTube subscriber. Not sure what perks I get or Discord, anything. Any help would be greatly appreciated. So for the YouTube, if you're a subscriber, you get notification, things like that. If you're a member, which I think you are, just given the logo next to your name, then you get access to the VIP only shows that we do. And the main one is Kevin Geek. He does the Players Club on Saturday. So you should be able to go to our channel and see that video. If not, let us know, and we'll try and connect you with someone who can hook you up with that.
Yeah, I think you probably get some of Fling's VIP only like reviews early in the week as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and not only NFL, like there are shows that I've done MLB wise that are VIP only too. So like stuff that's not planned is a lot of VIP stuff other than, Fling and then Kevin.
Yep. Gary said, I know that you say for 20 entry, pick one quarterback and build around the chalk. Could you do the inverse? Grab 2 running backs and a receiver from a game and mix and max quarterback stacking? Burns, I'll go to you with this one. What are your thoughts on this?
20 entry, I need one quarterback around and build around chalk. Honestly, when I play 20 max, I play with 4 quarterbacks. I build 4 lineup. I build around 4 quarterbacks, and I have 5 lineups per quarterback. I think with one quarterback, you get too pigeonholed into just that guy, and let's just say that guy fails, right? And you only have those 20 lineups in play, and whether it's across all contests of 20 max, and that one quarterback fails, well, you might as well just burn your money for that day. Whereas if you have 4 quarterbacks and you have 5 lineups per, and say 2 of those quarterbacks that you have go off, and a couple of those lineups go off with those quarterbacks, and maybe they don't take it down, but they're in the top 100 somewhere, you're actually going to profit versus your day being a net zero. So I would definitely build around 4. That's just my personal perspective. I know other coaches have said, pick 1 or 2 and go with it. But, if you can pick that 1 or that 2, by all means. But otherwise, I would build around 4. And then grab 2 RBs, and WR from the same game, mixed match. Yeah, I mean, you can build around those games with those 4 quarterbacks as well. So
perfect. William said, thoughts on Kittle? Tattoo? Are you seeing a lot of Kittle show up for you?
Yeah, but I really boosted him. He's my I'm double the field on him.
Was there anything that stood out for you with him?
I think he's had 2 games that were both pretty good, and I just think that's going to be the guy that just pops off today for the 49ers. Just a gut feeling. This is one of those 2 or 3 touchdown Kittle days.
Yeah, I'm right around field weight exposure, so I like him. Nothing too crazy, though. Josh said, what's the point of the show if you don't answer questions? Hey, I've got to him. Just take your time. Calm down a little bit, buddy. Ash said, GPP 2 premium tight ends viable, Kraft and Bowers. Raz, what are your thoughts on 2 tight ends this week?
I mean, it's viable. I'm just not getting there just because, I mean, the running backs that are in play are basically the same price or cheaper than both Kraft and Bowers are. so that makes it really tough for me. I may increase from 5%. Like I'm just running it a bunch just to see what it's doing. But yeah, I mean, those two guys would be, two of the three guys that I'd probably double tight end with. Just because generally double tight end is like maybe one spend up and a really cheap guy. So that is a way to get different from all the other double tight end builds.
Yeah. What tight ends do you like on this slate, Brass?
I mean, I do like Brock Bowers because he's seemingly healthy and fully practiced all week. Kraft for sure. I do like Kittle. I'm not as high on Tyler Warren as everybody else, but I like him. Kyle Pitts is probably my favorite tight end, as gross as that feels. Tight ends have done pretty well against New England. Not as high on Theo Johnson as everybody seems to be. Everybody just loves Dart, so they think that's who it's gonna be too. But he's still a Curdley-ish tight end that I just don't want to get overexposed to. So he's the one that I'm afraid of. That I just don't want to match the field on.
Perfect. What about you, Burns? What tight ends are standing out?
Very similar to Raz. I don't have the same love on Kittle as Tattoo today. He'll be in the mix, but away favored tight ends haven't been doing it for him. And so I'm just not going to be there on that. I like the home favored tight ends, and I like the away underdog tight ends. That's why I'll have good share of Kyle Pitts today. I'm right in the same boat with Raz on this. This game could actually surprise people. I'm going to have a good portion of Drake May today. So, it could be a very surprising game all around. And so there are other plays on the board. I mean, I think on the other side of that Indianapolis game, Jonnu Smith's in play. So there are some plays that are going to be under the radar plays, and where you don't actually have to go to Theo Johnson and GPPs or Tyler Warren as much. So, but I do like Tucker Kraft a good bit. He's got that home favored, and he's been just getting it done with Love. So, do like it a bit.
Perfect. Tattoo. Any additional tight ends you want to highlight?
Crap, I was rerunning. I'm mainly Kittle, Warren, Kraft. I have a fair amount of Kincaid, some Pitts, but Warren and Kittle are my highest owned.
Yeah, I like all of the tight ends y'all mentioned. I do think Kincaid is a good one to highlight there, Tattoo. All right, now we'll get to the defenses. It seems like a position that's pretty straightforward. Like you have your top 5-6 teams that a lot of people are kind of highlighting. But Tattoo, I'll go right back to you. What defenses are you focusing on this week?
Chargers, Rams, Lions, Packers, Patriots, and the one that geek poo-pooed on me for the Texans.
Why didn't he like your Texans play?
We have cheap running backs. We do not need to pay down at defense. We're not doing it this week. We have running back value.
Oh, Kevin. What about you, Burns? What defenses do you like?
All the favorites. I think the defense that's probably most in play for me, just from a hand build perspective, is the Lions. But there are other great defenses. I mean, the Rams are in a very good spot. The Chargers on the road are also in a really good spot against Cam Ward. So, I mean, it's really just pick what you pick one of these top ones. I do think that the Houston Texans are in play today.
Yeah.
I really do. I think they're definitely in play. They're always in play when they're at home. They're better defense at home than they are on the road.
Yeah, they're elite defense.
Look at the splits. It's insane. Insane.
And equally, I mean, the other side of that ball, if Patrick Surtain was in this would have been like an almost near like increase my exposure to the Broncos, because this would have been a great play at low ownership, but he's out, so I'm off of it.
Yeah. I wish the Broncos were favored, because it wouldn't shock me if CJ Stroud comes back down to earth a little bit this week, but I'm with you. I like the Texans defensive call too. All right. We will soon wrap up the show by just kind of talking through some of our favorite sneaky low-owned plays, but we'll go ahead and answer a few more questions that have come through. Ricardo said, who's your go-to quarterback for high-dollar single entry? Burns, what's your thought process here?
Man, this is a conundrum I have every week, man. Like, because I do play high-dollar single entry contests, and it is a conundrum. But what I've found is that the guys in the 5K range are the guys that you should be going to more so than any other quarterback. So that's kind of why I'm off of, the upper echelon guys this week. It's actually really viable, like the splits. It's 51% in the single entry, high dollar single entry that I enter every week that utilizes a 5K quarterback. And then it drops down to 35% for 6K. So if you stay in that 5 to 6K range, you should be okay. But yeah, for me, like, this is where I'm toying with Caleb Williams. Do I go Caleb Williams? Do I go Jackson Dart? Or do I go on the other side of that Giants game and go Mac Jones? So the builds are actually looking pretty nice with a 5K running quarterback. And then you got Goff. I mean, he's barely at the 6K range. So
yeah, I get it. Let's see. I feel like your username could be said in a lot of different ways, but all I see is Run Girl. So that's what I'm going to call you. He said, any thoughts on Monty as a pivot from the cheap running backs in the same range for tournaments? Raz, you give Monty any thought?
Yeah, I'm definitely giving him some thought. But, and I don't know. He's probably in play, but it's not something that I'm going to be super interested in. But I think getting to even 7 or 8% where you're nearly double the field, I think is fine.
Yeah.
As the pivot.
Burns, I saw it looked like you got a little bit more excited when the Montgomery name came up. Do you have more interest here?
Oh yeah, I'll have a good bit of them this week. And this is kind of why I don't think you have to go all in on one particular running back, like value running back, because there are so many. Like, people are forgetting about Monty. He's what, 5, 6, 7% ownership, and he's in a good game. I mean, this isn't a bad game for him. So I do like him. I don't want him and Gibbs in the same lineup though.
Yeah. But
I do like that he is that contrarianism off of all these higher owned running backs that are, in the 4s, and he's just at that 5K mark where everybody seems to forget about. And I do like it. I like him a bit. And I'm probably going to have as much ownership in him as I will in any other of the value running backs.
Kenny, get off the drugs. Get off them. Don't do this. Don't even. Just take that thought. Put it to the side. That's crazy. Crazy. Let's see. Any interest in Mac Jones on DK? He's popping. Yeah, Burns mentioned him. I have some interest too. He's not going to be in he's in my quarterback pool. He's not in my 150 run, but runs that I'm doing that are outside of that 150, he's making the cut. let's talk about quarterback pools because I feel like we didn't talk about that too much. Tattoo, what quarterbacks are you playing this week? Can you just kind of go over that?
Yeah. In my 150s, I have Dart, Jones, May, Mahomes, Allen, Mac Jones, Caleb, Stafford, Geno, Flacco, and Goff.
Whew, long list. Love it. Burns, what about you?
So I'll have Caleb in mind, Drake, Goff, Allen, Daniel Jones. I've been hand building with Mac Jones today because I've been trying to see if I want him in my single entry. So I'm trying to hand build a couple with him. I've hand built earlier in the week with Geno Smith. But other guys, like he's on my sheet, but I don't know if I want to play him at all as Patrick Mahomes. But I do like Josh Allen on the other side of that game. So,
Raz, where are you?
I mean, I'm basically with what everybody else has said. Like my pool is pretty wide yet, only because I like to try to figure out if I'm able to get some of the wide receiver options I want without quarterbacks, or if I have to keep them in my pool to make sure I get enough. Mm-hmm. So a couple of guys I'm still debating on, like, might be Jordan Love. If it's gonna need to use them to get more craft or some Dobbs, I might have to keep them in my pool. Might have to use JJ McCarthy, even though I don't want to, because Jefferson. I know we talked about Jefferson earlier, but like at his price point, like his ceiling is just huge because he should be generally, at the top or near the top. But then obviously like Addison, because I love him so much. Like sometimes even when you put minimums on some of these guys or boost them a lot, you just don't get enough. So like sometimes you just have to include their quarterback in the run, and take 4% McCarthy just to be able to get 14% Addison or something. It might have to work that way.
Yeah. This week was a little scary for me because I usually like to have 5 to 6 quarterbacks, but as y'all mentioned, there's a solid 8 to 10 really good options. But my 6 are going to be Allen, Mahomes, Stafford is kind of like my favorite low-owned quarterback. Daniel Jones, he fits the bill too. Caleb Williams and Joe Flacco. Terrifying Joe Flacco with the shoulder injury, but hey, we're here for a good time. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and touch on your favorite low-owned GPP plays. Burns, I'll start with you.
I'll start at the running back position. Josh Jacobs is way underowned. This is something that I don't really understand. Maybe I'm way off kilter here. But Josh Jacobs at 6% ownership almost seems like it's too low. You got a game where the spread is so wide, and it's a game where basically there's 2 guys on this entire offense that I want, and I want the defense, and it's Jacobs, it's Tucker Kraft, and it's their defense. 6% is really low. Like then you got Bijan. I mean, he's 9%. And then I look at all the other ownership, like Kyle Monungai is 41.4% ownership right now. In the Millie Maker, that guy's going to be pushing 60% ownership. If he fails at 60% ownership, all those lineups are gone. And so for me, like that's how I that's how I think when I build GPP. My pool is like, how do I get away from all that chalk? I have them capped at 30%. I might even lower them to 20, so I can get away from that chalk explosion if it happens. Another guys that And I'm just gonna stick to this running back position, and then all the other positions just kind of filter their way in. I think Kamani Vidal is going to go underowned. I think this 15% mark that he's at right now is something that is probably going to be lower. It's probably going to be about 12, 13% in the Millie Maker. David Montgomery is at under 5% ownership right now. David Montgomery is a solidified running back in the NFL. And for him to be 5% ownership, yes, he's got Jahmyr Gibbs as a secondary, as the option as well in the Detroit game. But David Montgomery has done it in the past. These other guys, they haven't done it yet. And so for me, it's like, I got to have David Montgomery at 5% ownership. I'm at 25% on him. Damn. He explodes, and guys like Manungai and all these other guys fail. Guess what? I succeed. And that's kind of how you have to play DFS. Wide receiver, guys that are underowned. DJ Moore, I mean, he's popping, he pops. De'Ami Brown, I talked about him earlier. He's underowned. He's 6% owned. He should be about 10 because of this matchup, this coverage matchup. So, yeah, I'll just stick it to that, because everything else, builds off of those running backs. Everybody's going to be on the value running backs, and rightfully so. I mean, they're in fine spots, but so aren't all these other guys.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Tattoo. How are you thinking about your favorite sneaky plays on this slate?
Let's see. Quarterback. Like Burns has said, I like Mac Jones. He's 4%. Drake May's 5%. Probably be two of my favorites with Josh Allen right there. Running backs. Like James Cook, Josh Jacobs, same thing, lower ownership with them. Wide receivers, I actually like Kendrick Bourne and Butte. Tight end, lower owned, I guess, would be Kincaid.
Love it.
And, I mean, defense, the lowest owned one I got is the Patriots.
Nice. All right. Raz, what about you?
For me, quarterback, Jared Goff, sub 3% at home. Such a great spot whenever Detroit's at home, even though I do obviously like the Vikings defense just in general against pass. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, Goff and that offense at home, just a different beast. Running back, Genty at 6.5% coming off a bye. There's just so much upside for me. And even Chase Brown, we didn't really talk about him, but that game we kind of like. And if Flacco really isn't 100%, there might be a little bit more leaning on Chase Brown and his, I guess, explosiveness. I don't really call it. He's never going to be an explosive guy, but he's looked better the last couple weeks compared to earlier in the season. So he's a guy that I think people just forget about because he obviously burned them for the first part of the season. Wide receiver, obviously Addison, mentioned multiple times. Kamara DK, a guy that just keeps getting chances with Tennessee, and he's looked pretty solid. And then Jameson Williams, we didn't mention him at all. All the offense coordinators speak all week. The fact that he can just blow up, he can get us a 0 again, or he could have a 25. And since I like Goff, I want to bring Jameson Williams along quite a bit. Tight end wise, I mean, everything's so spread out. I guess, really, to me, it might be Juwan Johnson. I haven't really played him a whole lot. but at 2%, like he got a ton of targets last week. Even with Shuck entering the game, he's cheaper than Theo Johnson, and I feel better about Juwan Johnson than Theo. So that feels like a play that I want to increase my ownership on. And defense, everything's pretty spread out, similar to tight end. Yes, one of the lowest ones that I'm interested in. I guess it is the Patriots, even though I try to get something a little cheaper. But the Patriots, maybe the Jaguars. We know that Geno turns it over a lot, and I know obviously I mentioned I like Genti, kind of like that game a little bit, but Geno does turn it over plenty. So I think the Jaguars at their price point can surprise.
Yeah, I love the Chase Brown call. I'm with you on that one. I'll add a sneaky defense here. I think the Chiefs are very viable here. I think I mentioned that on Friday too. But yeah, it's going to be a good one, y'all. If you are interested in asking more questions or being able to use the Domination Station, click the link in the bio to become a DFS Army member. I know we have the membership on YouTube, but the real thing, the DFS Army website and where you can join the Discord, that's where you can get the most help and have the most resources to really, make sure we can get some takedowns today. And CK, I'm with you, man. Let's make it happen. But it's going to be it today. I hope you all have a good Sunday, and we'll see you all next week. Peace out.